What's going on, guys? SwitchBrew here and welcome back to another YouTube video. So in this YouTube video we're going to be doing something a bit different today, and I've managed to get my hands on a Nintendo DSi XL, and this is in the wine red color. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to be modifying this today. So a couple of things that you're going to need is obviously the DSi itself. You're going to need a memory card of your choice. So I've just picked up a PNY 32GB memory card, and you're also going to need a reader to read the memory card, and obviously so you can plug it into your computer. So without further ado, what we're going to do is jump over onto the computer and we're going to insert the memory card into this little reader here. So bear with me while we jump over onto the computer. So once we're over on the computer, what we're going to need to do is prep the SD card. So I've got the SD card plugged into the computer via the little dongle thing that I've got. And as you can see, if I scroll down here to USB drive F, you can see that the SD card is currently empty. So if I right click and go to show more options and go to properties, you can see that the SD card is already formatted to FAT32, which it came as out of the package. However, if you've got an SD card that you've plugged in and it's a different format, what you're going to need to do is you're going to need to format it to FAT32. Now, depending on the size of the SD card, depends on whether you can use Windows to format it, or you have to download an external tool from Google, for example, which I will put in the video description to allow you to format the memory card to FAT32. So if I close this down and right click on the SD card again, go to show more options and look for format. What you can do if the SD card is small enough and you can do it via Windows, you can obviously come into here on the file system section, select FAT32, choose quick format and go ahead and press start. Like I said, my SD card is already formatted to FAT32 and is already ready to go. So what I'm going to do is close out of this and we're going to get on to copying the files across. So I'm going to close this window now. So these are the two files that you need to begin with, which I will put in the video description. And what we're going to do is we're going to get started. So first things first, we're going to copy the dump tool.nds across to the root of the SD card, like so. And then what we're going to do is open the Twilight menu DSI.7Z, and we're going to open that up like I've just said. So once we're in here, what we're going to need to do, is we're going to need to copy one folder across and one file. So the folder that you want to copy across is the _NDS. So we'll drag that across now and let that copy. Once that's copied across, we're also going to need to copy across one file, which is the boot.nds. So we're just going to grab that boot.nds file, drag it onto the SD card, and now we are ready to go back onto the Nintendo DSi console. So I'm going to close out of this. I'm going to go into the bottom right hand corner of my computer and I'm going to safely eject the USB drive to eject the memory card, which I've just done. And now I'm going to go ahead and plug it back into my DS console, and I'm going to switch over to the phone camera to show you guys what to do next. So guys, once you're back over on your Nintendo DSi console, what you'll want to do is go ahead and place the micro SD card, or the SD card should I say, into the console, and you want to go ahead and power it on. Once it's powered on, what you want to do is go ahead and press on the bottom screen to continue, and you'll be presented with the main home screen. Now, at this point, all we're doing is checking the DS for something that is quite important to the tutorial. So what you'll want to do is go ahead and load the camera application. If this is your first time loading the camera application, you're probably going to have to run through a tutorial. Once you've run through that tutorial and got to this screen, all you'll want to do is go ahead and press on the albums. So once we're in the albums, the only thing that we're going to be looking for is this little icon here. If you don't have the Facebook icon, not to worry, you can still perform this exploit. However, you need to make note whether or not you have the Facebook icon or not. So once we've done that, what we're going to do is switch back to the computer once again, and we're going to load some more files onto the SD card. So guys, once we're back over on the computer, what you're going to want to do is you want to download the relevant file to your Nintendo DS console. So if you've got the non-Facebook version, what you'll want to do is download this pit.bin file, and obviously if you've got the Facebook version, you want to download this pit.bin file. These files will be provided in the video description, as I've said before. And then what we're going to need to do is we're going to need to put this on the SD card. However, if you haven't used the camera app after plugging your SD card into the console for the first time, we're going to need to take a picture and store it to the SD card to create all the relevant folders in regards to the DS on the SD card. So what I'm going to do now is I'm quickly going to switch back to my Nintendo DS console, and I'm going to show you guys what you need to do to create the relevant folders. So once you're back over on your Nintendo DS console with the memory card inserted, to get the directory set up, what you'll want to do is launch the camera application. Once that's loaded, what you'll then want to do is in the top right hand corner, click on the SD card button, which is here, and that will create the directories on your SD card. Once you've done that, you want to go onto the camera. You'll want to take a quick photo, which I'm going to take a quick photo of my face. And once you've done that, you're all sorted, and you can just go ahead and press the quit button. What I'm going to do then is go back, and then what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and put the SD card back into the computer once again. So once we're back over on the computer and you've plugged your SD card back in, you should see a folder now called private. So what you'll want to do now is head over to the private folder. You'll want to go into DS, app, and then into this folder here. And you will see a file called pit.bin. So what you'll want to do is go ahead and click on this file, rename the file, which I'm going to do by pressing F2, and you want to rename this to tip.bin. I've done, as you can see. Now this is where the Facebook or non-Facebook icon comes into place. So before on the video you could see that I had the Facebook icon, so what I'm going to do is go into the Facebook folder and I'm going to drag this pit.bin to the SD card. Once I've done that, what I'm going to do now is plug the SD card back into the DS, and we'll resume once I've done that, so bear with. So guys, once you've put the SD card back into the console, what you'll want to do is go ahead and power it on. And you'll want to wait for it to load, and when it says at the bottom, tap the screen to continue, just go ahead and do that. Once you've done that, you want to load the camera application. Once the camera application has fully loaded, you want to click the SD card button in the top right hand corner to ensure SD card is selected, and you just want to go ahead and press on the albums button. And what's going to happen once you press this is the screen should flash a magenta color, and then you should be presented with a different menu. So what we're going to do is go ahead and do this now. So we'll press on the album button, and as you can see, the screen flashed magenta for a second, and the console has sort of reloaded. And on the bottom screen it now says touch the screen to continue, so you're just going to press on this, and then you're going to be presented with the Twilight menu. Prior to being presented with the Twilight menu, what you're going to need to do is select your language and your region, so go ahead and do that, and then you'll be presented with this following menu here. So the next thing we're going to need to do is we're going to need to dump the NAND of the console. So what we're going to do is scroll across until you see Dump Tool by Zuggy. You just want to go ahead and press A on this, and it's going to load this up. And as you can see, you'll then be presented with this screen, and you just want to go ahead and press the A button to dump the NAND. So once I press the A button, what I'm going to do is I'm going to pause the video and get back to you once it's done, because it takes around 7 minutes or so depending on the type of SD card you've got. So I'm going to go ahead and set this going now, and I'll get back to you guys once it's done. So as you can see, the NAND dump has now complete and it's at 100%. So what you'll want to do is go ahead and press the start button to exit. And then that's just going to take you back to the Twilight menu. So what you can go ahead and do now is you can go ahead and shut the console down. You want to plug your SD card back into the computer, and what we're going to do is just make a backup of the NAND. So what I'm going to do now is shut the console down, put my SD card into the computer, and back up the NAND. So guys, once you're back over on the computer and you've plugged your SD card back in, you will see a folder similar to this, and basically this is the NAND backup of the console. So what you'll want to do is drag this to a safe area on your computer, and this can be used if you ever brick the Nintendo DS console, and obviously it'll allow you to restore the system to a working state. So what I'm going to do for now is just drag this over to my desktop, like so. And this will copy it across. Like I say, you want to copy this across to your computer and keep it in a safe place. And once you've done that, that's pretty much everything. You have now got a fully modified Nintendo DS console. I will be making some follow-up videos later on this week to show you guys how to set certain things up and everything, but for now, that's the end of the video. If this helped in any way, shape or form, please like, comment and subscribe, and thank you for watching the video. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.